My son, stop what you are doing now, because what you hear now is not chance or coincidence. It is my voice speaking directly to you. I have waited for this moment with you, because I know that your heart needed to reach this point of maturity, this level of sensitivity to receive what I am about to give you. I call you urgently, because what is about to be revealed cannot be postponed. What you receive today carries the weight of eternity and was prepared for you long ago. No matter where you are or what you face, I approach now so that you may know that your entire path had a purpose. Nothing was left out of my sight. Every tear was counted, every silence was recorded, and every cry hidden deep within your soul was written in my books. I need you to truly pay attention. Don't consider these words as mere background noise. I myself breathe upon you to open the ears of your spirit. I don't want you to be distracted by thinking about what comes next. I just want you to stop and listen to me. What comes now will be the key to opening doors that seemed insurmountable. What seemed trapped in your chest will begin to move. I saw the times you silently searched for signs, the times you tearfully demanded answers that no one saw, and here is the confirmation. I am with you, and I have prepared something great for your life. I know you've often felt alone, that you thought you'd been forgotten, that you doubted your prayers would reach heaven. Today I tell you that they not only arrived, but were answered. Your time of waiting had direction. The apparent silence was my preparation behind the scenes. While you thought nothing was happening, I explored invisible paths. Every delay had a reason, every wait was an adjustment, so that whatever arrived would be perfect for your destiny. This is the moment of your awakening, of your realignment with me. It is the moment to understand that you were never left behind. Take a deep breath now and feel my presence enveloping your being. Let the rhythm of your body and soul align with my peace. Every beat of your heart is proof that there is still a path and a promise ahead. I held you when you thought of giving up. I held you when your strength failed you. I lifted you up when no one else noticed your pain. I don't just remember your failures. I also remember your attempts, the nights you endured, the small gestures of faith that no one registered. I want you to understand that nothing you've experienced has been in vain. What seemed like an ending was actually preparation for a new beginning. The painful losses, the doors that closed, the dreams that were postponed, all of this was part of the polishing process. Where there was anguish, I planted a seed. Where there was silence, I kept a promise. These seeds now begin to germinate within you. You will feel a different restlessness, an inner strength you didn't know you possessed. Things that once seemed out of place will begin to fall into place in inexplicable ways. Do not fear memories. Do not reject them. They are not chains, but records that bring teaching and purpose. There is an invisible legacy in your history that is not lost with death or time. There was someone who loved you intensely, and that love was planted on my altar. Today, I return this legacy to you, because true love does not die. It transforms into impulse, wisdom, and direction. What seemed absent will take shape. Latent gifts will awaken. Doors will open for you to fulfill what was planted before you. Allow your heart to heal. Allow hope to beat boldly again. Don't carry more guilt than you could have avoided. Don't live under the shadow of what you didn't say. Instead, answer the call I offer you now. Open your hand, open your gaze, open your life to the new I bring. As you listen to me, heaven works. As you believe, angels act. As you surrender to my guidance, I act in ways beyond your understanding. Take another deep breath, for this is only the beginning of something extraordinary. Beloved child, listen carefully, because I am about to reveal to you a secret hidden in your own story. There was someone who marked your life with love, affection, and presence. This person didn't leave behind only memories. They left behind an invisible legacy that is not lost with time or dissolved with death. This legacy is not made of papers, possessions, or human riches, but of spiritual seeds that I have preserved on my altar, so that they may now flourish in you. Every loving gesture, every simple piece of advice, every sincere word she spoke was engraved in my memory. Even in moments when this person seemed fragile, she stood up to pray for you, placed your name in my hands, and asked for protection, a future, and a full life. I heard every cry. No plea was lost in the wind. No tear fell without purpose. I collected each prayer and stored them like living seeds that would germinate in due time. That moment has arrived. You might think that what you carry today is simply the fruit of your experiences, but that's not the case. Many gifts, perspectives, and strengths that began to emerge within you after that departure are part of this legacy. The courage you didn't know you had, the wisdom in unexpected decisions, the intuition that saved you from wrong paths. All of these are signs that this legacy is already active within you. It's not chance or coincidence. It's continuity. It's love transformed into purpose. Remember the last conversation, the last glance, the silent embrace that was etched in your heart. It may have seemed like a simple goodbye, but it was more than that. There was prophecy in every gesture. There was revelation in every word. What you thought was ordinary was actually a promise being sealed. Do not despise these memories, for in them I hid signs that today become a guide. When I speak of legacy, I am not speaking only of memory. I am speaking of a silent voice that continues to resonate and guide your steps. You are not alone. The bond that true love created wasn't broken with death. It simply shifted dimensions. That person who loved you is still present in the form of seeds that now blossom in your life. And I am the God who transforms memory into legacy, tears into promises, absence into destiny. Today I confirm to you, nothing was lost, nothing was in vain. Everything that seemed to wither was only waiting for the right moment to bloom. Receive then this revelation as part of your being. You bear marks that are not just scars, but signs of continuity. You are the answer to an ancient prayer, the harvest of intercessions made with love and pain, the continuation of a legacy that did not end with your departure, but continues in you. Keep this in your heart. What began with love now lives in you as a mission. Beloved child, I want you to receive clearly what I am activating in you now. What yesterday seemed like a simple memory moves like a living current in your heart today. What was sown in silence, watered with tears, and kept on my altar has matured. The inheritance is no longer hidden like a seed underground. It has sprouted like branches breaking through the soil in search of light. I breathe so that you may see that the legacy is not a decorative memory, but a direction in progress. The gifts that have begun to emerge are not fortuitous flashes. They belong to the new structure I am building within you. The wisdom that visits you at the moment of decision was not born by chance. The courage that arises when everything tells you to retreat does not come from a blind impulse. The intuition that saves you from crooked paths is a beacon I lit. I call it a mantle, because it covers you, identifies you, and propels you forward. Receive it as a responsibility and a privilege. Nothing was lost along the way. The farewell that wounded your heart didn't end the story. It simply changed its continuity. The love that came to you through human hands was collected by me and returned as spiritual provision. Time didn't erase what was true. It simply polished it so that it would shine when its time came. And your time is now. I raise you as a living continuation of what began in love. You'll notice practical signs of this transference. The right words will emerge when someone close to you is falling apart. Compassion will allow you to see beyond appearances and touch the wounds without amplifying them. Discernment will allow you to distinguish voice from noise, urgency from importance, and the path from the shortcut. You'll see doors that insisted on remaining closed respond as if an invisible key were being turned from within. This key is the legacy working in your favor. Do not despise what I will place in your hands. Small acts of obedience will open up great possibilities. A timely call, a visit you decide to be late to receive, forgiveness offered while the pain is still burning. All of these set invisible mechanisms in motion. Inheritance has a multiplying nature. The little in my hands is never little. With perseverance, the grain becomes a harvest. With faithfulness, the murmur becomes a river. Practice the gifts I have entrusted to you. Make room for the silence that aligns you, for the prayer that anchors you, for the word that sharpens you, for the service that matures you. I will give you rhythm so that you don't get lost in the rush. You will learn to say no to what drains your energy and yes to what sustains your mission. You will adjust your habits, caring for your body like a temple and your mind like a garden, because your inheritance requires fertile soil to bear fruit. If doubt whispers to you that you're not capable, remember where I pulled you from and how many times I've picked you up. If comparison tries to paralyze you, remember that I didn't create you to repeat stories, but to fulfill yours. Break old labels, undo silent pacts with guilt. I didn't give you a cloak to hide behind. I clothed you to walk in the light. What you lacked in strength, I fill you with grace. And what you lacked in direction, I give you counsel. I place guards around the promise so that it may not be plundered by haste, fear, or fatigue. With each step, I myself probe your motivation and align your affections so that the gift becomes not a spectacle, but a service. The legacy carries the weight of glory, and where there is glory, there is also humility. Learn to celebrate without vanity, to move forward without haste, to rest without giving up. Thus, the mantle remains light on your shoulders. Now I ask you for a visible gesture of faith. Touch this message with your heart and confirm with your hands what you receive. Enjoy this video as if sealing in your spirit what you recognize as true. Subscribe to remain under this protection and continue receiving guidance at the opportune moment. I'm not asking you for a favor from the channel. I'm inviting you to a prophetic act. When you move with faith, I open paths that human effort cannot reach. Take a deep breath and notice that there is already a change within you. The pieces are beginning to fit together, and what was once fog gives way to clear outlines. Bring this awareness to your relationships, your work, your home. The legacy I entrusted to you is not a private ornament. It is light for many. Soon I will remind you of old questions you have hidden in silence. Bring them before me, for I myself will answer them. Walk with me to the next part, where your heart will find meaning in what for so long seemed unanswerable. My son, I know every question that arose in your heart since the day you felt the absence of that precious life. I heard your silent cry. I heard your soul wonder. Why did it happen? Where is she now? Do you hear me? Do you still think of me? I know every thought that visited you in the early hours of the morning when longing seemed to weigh on your chest. Today, I answer you myself, not with human explanations, but with the truth that only heaven can reveal. Nothing was in vain, nothing was lost, nothing happened beyond my knowledge. That person's time on earth is fulfilled, but the mission that began in love lives on in you. Son, I saw you stare into the void and believe that you too would be empty forever. I was by your side when the memory brought pain, but not comfort. I saw you when you longed to go back, to change your clothes, to avoid your departure. But I want you to understand now, nothing could interrupt the perfect plan I designed. Even what seems like an irreparable loss carries seeds that will bloom in due time. That farewell that seemed final opened a portal to a new cycle, and that cycle is now fulfilled in you. You've often asked me, is he still close? Has he left me alone? And I tell you, no, you have not been abandoned. True love does not die. It simply changes dimension. The bond that was built with tears, gestures, and sacrifices is engraved before me. Therefore, I affirm that life that shaped you remains as a legacy, as an intercession, as a spiritual inheritance. The longing you feel is proof that love is still alive, and this love now expresses itself in the form of gifts, courage, and purpose that blossom within you. You thought you only carried memories, but you carry a vocation. You thought you only carried memories, but you carry a mission, because before leaving, that life presented your name to me, entrusted your days into my hands, and begged me not to leave you alone. I wrote down every prayer, every silent request, every hidden tear. And now I show you that the answer to those prayers is you. You are the continuation of a work that is not finished. You are the link between what was sown and what will yet flourish. Beloved child, I don't want you to live trapped by gnawing questions, but rather to receive the answers that liberate. No longer wonder if you could have done something differently. The time of that life was fulfilled, and it was not in your hands to prolong it. What was in your hands was love, and that love was given, received, and sown. Now what is in your hands is the legacy, and that legacy needs to be lived out, multiplied, and honored. Do not carry the guilt, because the inheritance did not depend on your merits, but on my promise. I saw you when you felt unworthy to continue. I saw you when you said, I have no strength, I have no ability. Today I say to you, do not look at your limitations, because I chose you. From the womb, I knew who you would be and what you would carry. Even before your birth, I prepared the path that would bring you here. You are not a product of chance. You are part of an eternal plan. Your fragility does not surprise me, because it is in your weakness that my strength is perfected. Do not run away from the call, because it is greater than pain, stronger than loss, more enduring than absence. Heir of heaven, it's time to understand that your life has a meaning that goes beyond your decisions. There is a spiritual lineage manifesting through you. There are stories of faith, sacrifice, and devotion that now find continuity in your path. When you look back and remember the presence of that person, remember that all the good they did didn't end in the grave. It was recorded before me. I multiply goodness and transform it into direction. I take the seeds of love and transform them into fruits of purpose. You are not meant to live only remembering, but to live continuing. You are not meant to remain paralyzed by what is gone, but to rise up for what remains. Do not weep like someone who has lost everything, but let your tears water the promised land. Every drop that fell on your pillow was collected by me, and now waters the soil of your mission. You were not abandoned to chance. You were chosen to continue what was begun. I'm with you. Don't stray from this revelation. When you feel nostalgia, remember that this nostalgia is also fuel. When questions arise, remember that I've already given you the answers. When you try to understand why, remember that you don't need all the explanations to fulfill your mission. Just remember that you are in my hands, and that I myself will lift you up to continue. Therefore, my child, accept this truth within yourself. The mission continues within you. The love you received did not end. It became a purpose. The pain you experienced did not destroy you. It molded you to carry the mantle. Absence is not empty. It is ascending. The earthly end was only the beginning of a heavenly cycle. You are living proof that my promises do not fail, and that what begins in love is never lost. Now take a deep breath and let this certainty penetrate every corner of your being. What seemed to have ended continues in motion, and this motion passes through you. Receive, accept, walk. I am your God, and I tell you, nothing was in vain, nothing was lost. Everything continues within you. My son, remember that moment when everything seemed to end. The last conversation, the last glance, the simple gesture that was seared into your memory. Perhaps you thought it was just a goodbye, a farewell marked by pain. But today I tell you, every detail was a prophecy. Nothing was accidental, nothing was empty. Every unspoken word carried eternal weight. Every tear that glimmered in that person's eyes was a silent prayer surrendered to my throne. I was there, receiving every gesture, gathering every sigh, and transforming it all into a gift. The last time you saw that face wasn't just a closure, it was the signing of a legacy. The silence that hung over the room was more than pain, it was a confirmation. The broken heart cried out for continuity, and that cry reached me. That's why I'm telling you now. That moment was a seed. What seemed like a farewell was, in fact, a sending off. It wasn't a loss, but the passing on of a mission. And that mission is in your hands. When you remember that expression, that outstretched hand, that look that spoke louder than words, you are faced with a prophecy. Everything that seemed ordinary was actually heavenly. The one who left knew they couldn't finish it all, but they knew you could go on. I myself confirmed it to you in the depths of your soul. Feel it now, because the echo of that moment still resonates in your spirit. You were not left alone. You received an inheritance, a calling, a sacred trust. So I summarize everything in 3 words that I now declare over you. Live for me. Live with the intensity that person dreamed of. Live with the purpose sealed by their prayers. Live not only by existing, but by leaving traces of love, faith, and dedication. Live as a witness that what begins with tears ends in harvest. Live because there is a promise that needs your voice, your hands, and your steps to be fulfilled. And I don't just tell you to live, but I guarantee provision. Doors will open before you. Resources that were held back will be released. Paths that seemed closed will become clear. I didn't just call you, I also sustain you. I didn't just give you a mission, I also provide for you. What seems stagnant begins to move. You will see abundance where there was once scarcity. You will discover answers where you only found silence. The harvest will come not because you deserve it, but because the prayer of the one who departed was recorded and answered. Now, my son, I ask you to take a visible step of faith. Just as that life trusted me and interceded for you, today I invite you to seal this word. Write the number 7777 with faith, because it is the sign that you receive the inheritance, that you accept to live the mission, and that you trust in the doors I am opening for you. Each comment is like a prophetic act that confirms your decision. It is not just writing, it is declaring in the visible what is already moving in the invisible. As you write, heaven works. By affirming with my mouth and hands, I release responses. Because faith isn't just a feeling, it's action. And when you act, I respond. This is the moment of activation, the moment of transition between grief and purpose, between loss and continuity. What seemed to have ended re-emerges as a new stage. Take a deep breath now and receive these 3 words in your spirit like an eternal seal. Live for me. Keep them in your heart. Repeat them when doubt tries to silence you. Proclaim them when fear arises. Because these words are the essence of your legacy. Pain was not your final legacy, but the mission to live with faith, to walk with purpose, to flourish where you thought only the desert remained. Child, this is the turning point. You are no longer trapped by questions. You are now walking toward answers. You are no longer paralyzed by emptiness. You are now driven by purpose. Live for me, for there is still much to live, to accomplish, and to witness. Live because I called you, equipped you, and I sustain you. Live because the love that seemed lost now blossoms within you as a renewed strength. Live for me, and everything that seemed over will be only the beginning of a new story. Beloved child, listen carefully. for I want you to understand something essential before moving forward, before my hands release in abundance the resources I have prepared, before the financial doors open, before the miracles of provision reach your eyes. My care must first touch your heart, for it is of no use to shower you with blessings without restoring your inner being. What good would the abundant harvest be if your heart was still heavy, full of guilt, marked by wounds that have not healed? That is why I say, true abundance begins within, in the secret place of the soul, where I place the peace that no money can buy. I've seen you carry the weight on your shoulders, believing you could have done more, that perhaps, somehow, that person's passing would have been different if it had been up to you. I've seen how, silently, guilt visited you like a shadow. Today I say to you, free yourself from this lie. Nothing could have changed the time that was fulfilled. You were not responsible for the earthly end, because every day counted before me. What seemed like injustice or failure was no accident. It was a cycle that ended so another could begin. And this new cycle begins within you. I want to heal your memories. I want to touch the place where you harbored old pains, where you hid unanswered questions. I want to show you that the absence that once wounded you now transforms into ascending. I want you to know that you were not left an orphan, because from that day on, I myself welcomed you as heir to a living promise. Everything you thought was lost is transforming into direction. You are not walking backward, you are walking forward. The earthly end was not a closure, it was a portal to a new time. When you hear my voice, heaven works. When your heart opens, angels surround you. When you breathe deeply and trust, I restore what was broken. The pain that imprisoned you will no longer be a prison, but a testimony. What seemed like silence will reveal itself as soft music. What seemed like defeat will become the fuel for your victory. For I am the God who takes the fragments and builds something even more beautiful than before. Son, I tell you, nothing will ever be the same again. Not because I will erase your history or your memory, but because I will give new meaning to everything you have experienced. The tears that once drowned you will now water the germinating seeds. The absence that once paralyzed you will now prompt you to act with greater compassion. The emptiness that seemed to consume you will now be filled by my presence. Everything you believed to be an end, I transform into a beginning. Every earthly farewell becomes a heavenly cycle. Now I ask you for something that multiplies the promise. Just as this word reached you, many need to hear the same truth. Don't keep to yourself what sets you free. Share this message as an act of faith, as a channel of inheritance. By doing so, you won't just be sending a video, you'll be spreading hope, imparting comfort, and bringing to others what begins to restore your own life today. Sharing is multiplying the seed, becoming a link in the chain that heaven is moving. When you share, your gesture isn't small, it's prophetic. It's like opening a spiritual door for others to receive healing in their hearts. Many around you carry guilt, pain, and heavy memories that prevent them from moving forward. By sharing this word, you become an instrument for them to hear. It wasn't an end, it was a beginning. It wasn't abandonment, it was sending. It wasn't silence, it was a response. And the same healing that manifests in you today will begin to blossom in their lives. So take a deep breath and give me the weight of your heart. Give me the questions you couldn't answer. Give me the knot that still tightens your soul. I myself will comfort you. I myself will pour balm on your wounds. I myself will transform pain into destiny. As you do so, remember, you do not walk alone. All of heaven is on your side, and the promise lives on. What seemed like the end is only the beginning of a new stage, marked by my presence. This is the time for inner restoration. This is the time to trust that my care is complete, The exterior will flourish, but first I leave your heart clean, bright, and renewed. Receive this healing as a seed for all that I will yet pour forth. And as you share this word, be a channel of love, because what I begin in you is not limited to you. I am raising in you an instrument of comfort, a bearer of hope, a living testimony that each earthly end is only the beginning of a new cycle in heaven. My son, open your heart, because I need to speak to you about something you've been feeling in your body, but which actually begins in your soul. I know that often your heart races, your mind is agitated, your bones feel abnormally tired. I know you've wondered why symptoms appear without explanation, why pain arises even when you seek to live in peace. Today I tell you, illness is not a punishment, but a call. It's as if your body is shouting what your heart has been trying to silence for years. It's the way I use to make you stop, reflect, and turn your gaze toward me. I don't want you to be afraid to hear this, because I don't come to condemn, I come to restore. Many of the physical signs you perceive are a reflection of hidden wounds, of guilt that hasn't been released, of pain that never had room to heal. The body carries the weight of the soul when it finds no rest. An anxious mind transforms into a pain that doctors can't explain. A wounded heart can poison the bones. But today I tell you, none of this came to destroy you. I allowed you to feel these signs, to reveal the hidden root, to call you to a process of complete healing. My child, I am the God who knows every cell, every fiber, every breath. I know what you yourself don't know. Before the test reveals it, I already know what's inside you. Before the diagnosis is written, I've already prepared the way out. This isn't to scare you, it's to teach you to trust. Because in your fragility, I show you my strength. When you think you have no strength left, I am the one who holds you up. When you feel there's no way out, I am the one who opens the way. Don't see your pain as a sentence, but as a warning. Don't interpret it as an end, but as a new beginning. The body speaks when the spirit cries for help. And today I say to you, it's time to stop, to look within, to allow me to heal what no one else sees. Stop trying to hold on. Come to me with everything, even your weakness. I am not ashamed of your limitations. I embrace them. I want to show you that every pain can be a bridge to life, that every symptom can be transformed into testimony. And at this moment, I invite you to a visible act of faith. Play this video with your heart and confirm your trust in me. Enjoy it as if you were activating in the physical world what is already beginning in the invisible. Subscribe to remain under my word, because every step you take with faith opens the way for me to pour out even more of my grace. It's not a favor, it's a seal. It's your way of saying, I believe this healing has begun. As you move with faith, I move for you. Heaven works when you make small gestures of trust. I honor every decision that comes from you, even the simplest. And in the midst of your fragility, I show you that you are not alone. I place angels around you. I strengthen your bones. I restore your strength. I don't erase your story, but rather I transform each chapter marked by pain into a testimony of victory. Therefore, my son, no longer consider your illness an enemy. See it as an opportunity to pause and listen to my voice. I am the God who interrupts your haste so that you may perceive what is essential. I am the Father who prefers to forcefully give you rest rather than lose you in haste. Everything I have allowed until now was not to crush you, but to teach you that true healing resides in me. Today, I begin something new within you, something that transcends the body because it reaches your soul. Receive this word and let it penetrate deeply, for the process has already begun. You are my beloved child, and I am restoring not only your bones, but also your hope. I am healing not only your muscles, but also your faith. I'm giving new life to every cell, but especially to your spirit. As you breathe deeply, receive the breath of my presence. It envelops you, renews you, and uplifts you. This is the hour of your restoration. My son, I want you to clearly understand the essence of the healing I have for your life. Many think that restoration begins only in the body, with the disappearance of symptoms, with clean examinations and reversed diagnoses. But I tell you, true healing begins in the soul. Because it is in the heart where wounds accumulate, it is in the mind where worries lodge, it is in the spirit where wounds no one else sees are hidden. And when these wounds remain open, sooner or later, they are reflected in the flesh. That is why I not only treat what the eyes see, but I reach the invisible. I have seen how you clung to harsh words that hurt you in the past. I know the resentments you carried like stones in your chest. I know the guilt you couldn't let go of, which silently consumed you. All of this, my child, has been eating away at you, robbing you of your peace, diminishing your energy, weakening your joy. But today I say to you, stop carrying burdens that were not meant for you. I myself take upon myself your pain. I myself heal your wounds. I want to restore your interior so that your exterior may reflect abundant life. Understand, when the soul finds rest, the body responds. When the heart heals, the muscles relax, sleep returns, and breathing becomes light. When the mind is freed from the shackles of anxiety, even the body finds balance. I do not despise human treatments or reject science, but I want you to know that the root of true health is spiritual. Therefore today I begin a deep work within you, uprooting roots of bitterness, undoing knots of guilt, and releasing new waters of peace. Son, let me enter places no one else knows. Let me touch memories that still hurt you, episodes you would rather forget, but that remain alive within you. Do not be afraid to revisit these places, because I will not expose you to pain again. I will transform it into testimony. I will exchange bitter memories for new hope. I will give new meaning to the words that hurt you. I will put balm where there was once a gaping scar. This is the beginning of true healing, making space for my presence to dwell where there was once shadow. When you surrender these hidden areas to me, something begins to change on a physical level as well. The pressure you felt in your chest dissolves. The fatigue that weighed you down loses its hold. The constant tiredness gives way to new energy. Even your thoughts begin to organize, as if a gentle breeze were dispelling the confusion. This is the reflection of a restored soul. It's not just emotional, it's a spiritual transformation that has a real impact on the body. Don't be alarmed if, in the coming days, you notice emotions surfacing, tears suddenly welling up, memories resurfacing. This isn't a regression, it's part of the process. It's the heart expelling what it no longer needs to carry. It's the soul purifying itself, like a river that begins to flow again after a long period of stasis. Believe me, because I'm guiding every detail. Nothing that arises now will hurt you again, but rather to free you once and for all. I tell you, true health is not measured only by the absence of disease, but by wholeness. I want to see your spirit strong, your soul light, your body in balance. I want you to live without invisible chains, without unnecessary burdens. That's why I insist. Don't cling to the past. Don't cling to what hurt you. Let go, surrender, trust. Every time you surrender yourself to my hands, a fragment of healing manifests within you. Son, do not fear this process. I know that sometimes you prefer to hide your pain to appear strong. I know that you have learned to smile when everything falls apart, to feign peace when the storm rages inside you. But I don't need your masks. I want your truth. I want you to come to me in all your fragility, because it is in the broken that I dwell. It is in the sincere heart that I pour out my anointing. The more sincere you are before me, the faster your process of restoration will be. Listen carefully. Your story does not end marked by pain and illness. Your identity is not that of someone who is sick, but that of someone who heals. You are loved, chosen, sustained. I restore you from within, so that what manifests on the outside is the fruit of my work and not merely human effort. And when you look back, you will see that even the pain that brought you down was used as a stepping stone to your victory. Take a deep breath now and let my presence invade your interior. Feel how peace begins to fill the spaces that were empty. Feel how calm replaces anxiety. Feel how hope warms what was cold. This is the beginning of complete healing, from the inside out, from the soul to the body, from the invisible to the visible. I am your God, and I am with you every step of the way. Nothing will ever be the same again, because I am renewing everything within you. Beloved child, I want you to know that you are not alone on this path of restoration. Since before you were born, I have surrounded you with guardians, and now I confirm, I have sent Archangel Michael to fight for you. He is not just a messenger, he is a warrior from heaven, a prince who rises in battle against unseen forces. While you sleep, he watches. While you pray, he fights. As you open your heart to me, he tears down the barriers the enemy has tried to erect against your life. Don't underestimate what happens in the unseen. There are chains that needed to be broken. Walls that have stood for generations, words hurled that tried to imprison your destiny. But when Michael enters the scene, nothing remains standing. He is the one who banishes darkness, who tears away the veils of deception, who tears down spiritual strongholds. You don't see him with the eyes of the flesh, but your spirit already perceives signs. A sudden peace in the midst of struggle, unexpected courage in the face of fear, sudden relief when everything seemed heavy. These are traces of his presence, evidence that the war is being waged in your name. Understand something very important. The enemy tried to use pain to imprison you, tried to use illness as a prison, tried to use loss as a sentence. But I sent Michael to break each of these chains. Nothing said against you will have power. No curse will withstand his sword. No decree of defeat prevails when heaven decides to fight. Because your life is not in the hands of darkness, your life is in mine. And when I declare victory, Michael steps forward as visible confirmation of the promise. He walks before you as a shield and a weapon. Wherever you go, you will see doors opened, not only by your strength, but by the spiritual intervention I have prepared. He strikes down those who seek to harm you, silences the mouths of those who accuse you, and protects your mind from the darts of doubt and fear. And not only that, he builds walls of fire around your home, protects your steps, and watches over your dreams. Many attacks you never even imagined have already been blocked by his hand. Fear no more what the future holds. Don't let yourself be paralyzed by the memory of past defeats. There is an army with me, and Michael is the general I place at your side. He fought for generations before you, sustained lives no longer in this world, and now continues the mission in your story. He fought to preserve the promise you carry in your veins and will continue fighting until it is fully fulfilled. For what I began in love, I finish in victory. My child, receive this truth as a seal. You do not walk unprotected. You are not at the mercy of chance. Every step you take is accompanied by angels who surround you. When the night seems too long, they are at your bedside. When your mind fills with worry, they whisper peace to you. When your body weakens, they give you strength. I do not send messengers to watch from afar. I send warriors to fight up close. Michael is a sign of my zeal, proof of my care, a guarantee that your path will not be lonely. Lift your head and walk, knowing that the battle is already won. Not because you are strong, but because I am your strength. Not because you have power, but because my power is manifested in you. Michael does not act on his own merit, but at my command. And I sent him because I love you, because I want you to understand that all of heaven is committed to your victory. Take a deep breath and feel this certainty. You don't need to see it with your eyes, just believe it with your heart. The peace that now fills you is a sign that the army is already on the move. What was resistance begins to give way. What was weight begins to fall. What was fear begins to dissolve. This is the moment when you will learn to walk without looking at the darkness that surrounded you, but trusting in the light before you. I am your God, and Michael is the warrior I place at your side, and together no enemy will stand. Beloved child, I want you to understand what is already happening within you. Since you opened your heart to my voice, I have begun to activate gifts that were dormant. Perhaps you have already noticed how your sensitivity has intensified. Things that previously didn't move you now bring tears to your eyes. Situations that previously went unnoticed now awaken deep compassion in your heart. Someone's simple words reach you as if they had eternal weight. This is not weakness or coincidence. It is a sign that your spiritual heritage has awakened. I've instilled in you a new perception. It is as if your eyes see beyond the superficial and your heart perceives the invisible. When someone suffers near you, you feel it as if it were your own pain. When someone cries, it is as if their tears also find your eyes. This is the fruit of the legacy you carry within. The sensitivity that grows in you is not a burden, it is a tool. It is not a burden, it is a gift. It is through it that you become an instrument of my love on earth. Don't be alarmed by this intensity. I myself am molding your heart to be a vessel of tenderness and discernment. Before, you quickly overcame certain situations, but now you pause, observe, and accept them. Before, you didn't understand that coldness in your soul or that sudden warmth in your spirit, but now you recognize it is my presence communicating something to you. This spiritual awakening is part of the activation of the legacy you received. It is proof that you are not living randomly, but to fulfill a destiny I have mapped out for you. Child, this greater sensitivity is a sign of spiritual maturity. It means that you are no longer the same, that your heart is in tune with mine. Through it, you will be able to perceive what needs healing around you, reach out when others don't even notice the need, be a voice when silence tries to crush those around you. I don't awaken gifts just for you. I awaken them so that through you, many can be reached. You are the continuation of a mission, a channel through which flows what began in another generation. Now I ask you something important. Don't keep what is being activated to yourself. What you receive is not exclusive, it multiplies. I want it to become a chain. I want it to expand. So share this message. By sharing, you're not just sending words, you're sowing seeds of spiritual sensitivity. You're spreading the same awakening that moves you now to other lives who also need to feel. Many around you are dry, hardened, believing that feeling is weakness. But when they receive this word through you, they will understand that feeling is strength, that crying is healing, that perceiving is a gift. My child, every time you share, you become a bridge. You are a channel of connection between heaven and hearts that still don't know how to open. By sharing this message, you are part of a network of restoration. Do not underestimate this gesture. It is small in your eyes, but powerful in the invisible. It is like lighting a candle in a dark room and then multiplying its flame in many other candles. What moves you today can ignite hope in hearts that were already cold. I want you to understand, this new sensitivity is not meant to harm you, but to strengthen you. It is meant to make you more human, more compassionate, more like my beloved son, who had compassion on the multitudes, wept in the face of pain, and reached out to the rejected. You carry that same essence now. The more you let it blossom, the more you will see the transformation around you. Take a deep breath and feel what I'm revealing to you. This is only the beginning of your spiritual awakening. You have been called not only to live, but to feel, to discern, to transform. Use this sensitivity as a weapon of love, as a channel of faith, as a living testimony that my presence is real. Maintain this certainty. You are not fragile because you feel more. You are strong because my spirit is in you. And when you share what you receive, heaven expands through you. Beloved child, listen carefully, because I want you to understand the greatness of what I'm doing in your life. You are not a product of chance. You are not just someone who breathes and survives day after day. You are the answer to the cries that rose to heaven long before you were born. There were generations that knelt. There were voices that called upon me. There were hearts that asked for transformation and change. And I wrote down each of these prayers. Today I tell you, you are their answer. You are the living link between what was asked for and what is now beginning to flourish. Do not dismiss your existence as insignificant. You carry within you seeds that did not germinate in your ancestors, but that now find fertile ground in your history. Many before you dreamed of change, longed to see open doors, imagined a harvest they never experienced. I have reserved this for you. What they watered with tears, you will reap with gratitude. What they silently prayed for, you will experience in abundance. Therefore, I confirm that your life is not accidental, but part of a much greater plan. I have poured out my favor upon your path. You will see doors that were once closed open before you. Where many said no, you will begin to hear yes. Where there seemed to be no way out, I will create unexpected passages. The favor I grant you does not depend on human connections or your strength. It is the fruit of the promise I carry in your lineage. I will show you that when I open, no one can close, and when I close, no one can open. It is my seal that will be there at every opportunity. Son, this is the moment of clarity. What seemed confusing will begin to align. The thoughts that haunted your mind will find order. The pieces of your life, which seemed loose and meaningless, will begin to fit together like a perfect puzzle. Because I am confirming your mission, you have been called to be a restorer, to heal wounds, to be a channel of hope in the midst of despair. I have not called you simply to survive, but to be a light that breaks into the darkness. Do not fear when responsibility seems overwhelming. I myself prepared you for this moment. I gave you sensitivity to see the pain, courage to face challenges, and wisdom to make decisions. And when you feel weak, remember that you do not walk alone. Michael goes before you as a warrior, and I myself hold your hand. Nothing you face will be greater than the grace I have poured out upon you. You are part of a promise that began long ago and is now fulfilled in you. Now, my child, I invite you to a visible gesture of faith. Sign up to remain under this word, as if you were saying to heaven, I want to follow this path. It's not just about following, but about aligning yourself with what I am releasing. Each sign-up is like a seal in the physical world that confirms your decision in the spiritual world. It's your way of staying connected to the flow of the promise, of saying, I receive and keep walking. By taking this step, I expand your territory. I prepare encounters that will seem like coincidences, but will be answers. I surround you with people who will be bridges, mentors, and allies. I remove from your path those who don't contribute and bring in those who will help you grow. The favor I grant you is not only for your life, it is to bless those around you. Many will see the change in you and know that there is something different, something that cannot be explained with logic. It will be the sign of a promise fulfilled. Take a deep breath now and know this. You are the answer of a generation. You are the fruit of ancient supplications. You are the harvest of prayers sown with faith. Do not humble yourself. Do not hide. Do not doubt. The favor I grant you will open doors, align paths, and confirm to all that it was I who chose you. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to prevent my plan from being fulfilled in you. Beloved child, I want you to understand that life's pauses are not signs of failure, but rather invitations to build something deeper within you. You often believed that stopping was a sign of defeat, that resting was a waste of time, that admitting tiredness was weakness. But I tell you, even rest is part of obedience, even silence is part of the spiritual path. You were not created to live in constant haste, crushed by everyone's demands, trying to carry burdens that do not belong to you. I do not form you for collapse. I form you for wholeness. Therefore, when I allow pauses, it is so that you may perceive where the imbalance lies and allow me to restore your inner being. Remember how many times your body screamed what your soul already knew. Exhaustion, lack of energy, an overwhelmed mind. These were all signs that you needed to stop. But you chose to keep going, smiling so as not to worry anyone, hiding the pain so as not to appear fragile. Today I tell you, there's no need to pretend anymore. You can be faithful to me. You can show your weaknesses without fear, because I don't reject a broken heart. On the contrary, it's in that heart that I choose to dwell. When life interrupts you with an illness, a loss, or an unexpected limitation, it's not a punishment, it's a wake-up call. It's as if I'm saying to you, my child, pause for a moment, because I need to heal what's hidden. In these forced pauses, I open your eyes to what you didn't know. I teach you to value what truly matters. I show you that you are not a machine, but a temple of my spirit. The world may demand constant productivity, but I value truth, holistic health, and communion. Don't fear fragility. The weakness you tried so hard to hide is the soil where my strength blooms. It's when you admit you can't do it alone that my presence becomes more evident. It's when your arms tire that mine hold you. It's when your tears fade that my voice sustains you. Every pause you face isn't a setback. It's a readjustment. Every limit you perceive isn't a defeat. It's an invitation to depend on me. I know of every night when your strength failed. I know of the moments when you thought you couldn't go on. I know of the days when your heart cried silently, asking for relief that no one understood. Today I want you to know, I was present in each of those moments, not as a spectator, but as a father who held you, who collected your tears, who kept your hope even when you almost lost it. Nothing was wasted. Every weakness was used to mold you into someone more sensitive, more dependent, more sincere. Take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. Resting is not giving up, it's trusting. Silence is not losing, it's listening. Stopping is not retreating, it's letting me guide you. Learn to value rest, because in it I restore your mind, renew your strength, and align your heart. Don't blame yourself for not being tireless. It was I myself who wrote on your body the need for rest, because even the Creator rested on the seventh day. Son, observe how even your fragility can become a testimony. When you look back, you will realize that the moments you thought were your end were in fact beginnings. Every time your body forced you to stop, your spirit had the opportunity to blossom. Every time your mind couldn't take it anymore, your soul found space to hear my voice. Every time your heart weakened, I reached out to hold you even tighter. Now receive this word. Your fragility is not a sign of defeat, it is a bridge to rebirth. I am the God who transforms pauses into new cycles, tears into new seeds, limits into new beginnings. Nothing was lost. Even what seemed like an interruption led you to the true path. May every pause be an altar, every silence an encounter, every weakness a door to my strength. I am with you in every detail, and I will make your vulnerability the stage for my greatest miracle. My son, the harvest season has arrived. All the tears you shed, all the days your heart felt crushed by the weight of pain, every moment you thought you were alone, none of it was in vain. Every tear was a seed before me. Every silent cry was engraved on my throne. Every night your weary body searched for the strength it lacked was transformed into fertile soil. Today, I declare over you, the time has come to reap what you sowed, even when you didn't realize it. The pain that seemed to have destroyed you now transforms into direction. The losses you thought were the end have become portals to a new beginning. The humiliations that made you bow your head will now become honor before all. For I am the God who transforms shame into testimony, darkness into light, defeat into victory. Nothing will remain unanswered. What seemed lost returns like a restored promise. What seemed barren blooms like a renewed garden. Look at your life and remember the times you thought you'd never leave the valley. Remember the times when the silence seemed to scream louder than any hope. For now, I tell you, the valley has become a harvest field. Where once there was dry land, abundant green sprouts. Where once there was ash, beauty is born. Where once there was desert, I open rivers. This is the moment you will see abundance replace scarcity, joy replace tears, strength replace weakness. You are my beloved son, and I have not forgotten you. I have closely followed every detail of your journey. I know how many times you raised your hand and received no immediate response. I know how many times you thought the wait had been in vain. But today I confirm to you, nothing was lost. Even the silences served me to prepare for your victory. I turned every delay into training, every struggle into maturity. Now you reap not only the fruit of your faith, but also the fruit of the prayers of those who came before you. This is the moment when your identity is restored. I no longer call you abandoned but chosen. I no longer call you fragile but strong in me. I no longer call you lost but found. I clothe you with honor. I place you in the position of a witness. Others will look upon you and see that my favor is real. Many who did not believe in your strength will be shocked to see what I am doing. For it is not your strength that sustains you, it is my hand that lifts you up. Now, my child, I invite you to a prophetic gesture. Declare with your own words and hands that you receive this time of harvest. Say with faith, today I receive my miracle. Each written word is like a seed that returns to heaven, and heaven responds by multiplying. It's not just a comment. It's a declaration. It's your way of accepting before the visible world what you are already experiencing in the invisible. When you write, the heavens move. When you declare, the angels record. When you prophesy with faith, doors begin to open. This is the time not just to believe silently, but to proclaim firmly, my time has come, my harvest has arrived, my new beginning has arrived. Take a deep breath and receive this word into your soul. Everything that seemed insignificant now makes sense. Everything that seemed lost returns in abundance. Everything that seemed like an end becomes a beginning. This is the cycle of the fulfilled promise. I am your God, and I declare, your time of weeping is over, your time of harvest has begun. Beloved child, I want you to understand the importance of the body I gave you. I did not create it simply as matter that ages or as flesh that feels pain. I formed it as a temple of my presence. Every cell, every breath, every heartbeat was designed to be a dwelling place for my glory. When you look at your body and see only weaknesses, I see a dwelling place. When you see limitations, I see space for the manifestation of my strength. Do not dishonor what I gave you, because your body is not a burden, it is an instrument. I've seen how often you've neglected your self-care. the accumulated fatigue, the excessive worry, the sleepless nights. All of this has robbed you of precious energy. But today I say to you, it's time to recover. It's time to learn to rest, not only your mind, but also your body. Resting is not a sign of laziness. It's a sign of trust. When you stop and rest, you declare your belief that I continue to work for you. When you take care of your body, you not only prolong your life, but you honor the temple that houses my presence. Son, I want to renew your physical strength. I want to infuse you with new energy. Where once there was constant fatigue, there will be vigor. Where the weight of the day weighed you down, you will feel lightness. Where sleep was restless, you will find serene rest. I myself pour balm on your tired muscles, on your weakened bones, on your racing heart. I do not allow you to carry out this mission in eternal fragility, for I promise to be your sustenance. Just as I restore your soul, I also restore your body, but I also teach you responsibility. I want you to learn to take care of yourself, because your life is not just yours. It is a channel of blessing for many. Your body is a tool to fulfill the mission I have entrusted to you. Therefore, nourish it with balance, give it rest, and allow it to breathe. Don't live only to work and suffer, live also to care and enjoy. When you honor your body as a temple, you will discover that it will respond with renewed energy. At this moment, my child, I invite you to a prophetic gesture. Enjoy this message as a sign that you honor the temple where I dwell. It's not just a click. It's a declaration that you receive new strength, new health, and a new disposition. Every gesture of faith in the visible opens space for miracles in the invisible. When you choose to honor my temple, I pour vigor and stability upon you. As I act in faith, I send healing. As I declare your honor, I release your body from old burdens. Many symptoms you have carried for years will begin to dissipate because your inner being aligns with my will. What seemed chronic begins to lose strength. What seemed impossible to improve begins to adjust. For I am the God who heals from the inside out and from the outside in. Breathe deeply and feel the coming renewal. It's as if a fresh breeze was sweeping through you, clearing away the heavy burdens, illuminating the dark, awakening what is dormant. I raise your health so you can move forward. I replenish you with energy so you can continue. I restore you in body, soul, and spirit so that you may be a living testimony of my goodness. Keep this truth. Your body is sacred. It is a temple. It is the home where I have chosen to dwell. Honor it, because by caring for it, you are also caring for the legacy I have placed in your hands. This is the moment of your complete restoration, and the vigor you thought was lost will return multiplied. Beloved child, I want you to listen carefully, because this is the confirmation your heart has so longed for. I am the God who restores, not only in part, but completely. Everything you thought was lost, everything you thought was stolen, everything that time robbed you of, I restore. There is no chapter of your story that remains unredeemed when you hand the pages to me. There is no wound I cannot heal, no emptiness I cannot fill, no fall from which I cannot lift you up. I specialize in transforming ruins into homes and deserts into gardens. I've seen every detail of your life. I know the dreams that died before blossoming, the relationships that crumbled, the opportunities that seemed to slip through your fingers. But today I tell you, nothing was in vain. Even what seems like loss to you is raw material in my hands. I'm rearranging pieces that were scattered, rebuilding bridges that seemed broken, opening new paths where you only saw walls. The restitution I prepare is not just returning what is gone, it's multiplying what is to come. What seemed like an end will be a glorious new beginning. What seemed like waste will become an abundant harvest. My child, I want you to understand that restoration begins with you. First, I restore your identity so that you know who you are in me. You are not rejected, you are loved. You are not forgotten, you are remembered. You are not defeated, you are victorious. Then I restore your hope so that your gaze does not remain stuck in the past, but rather sees the future I prepare. Afterward, I restore your strength so that you have the vigor to move forward and not give up halfway. And finally, I restore your relationships so that loneliness gives way to communion and longing to joy. Everything that seemed dead will come to life again. Everything that seemed withered will shine again. Everything that seemed distant will be brought back with honor. I am the God who restores, but not only what was lost, I add what you never imagined. I give you more than you asked for, more than you dreamed, more than you thought possible. For my generosity knows no bounds, and my love knows no boundaries. My child, this is the moment when you will see ancient doors open. This is the moment when you will hear news of restoration that will seem incredible to you. This is the moment when your heart will feel light as it hasn't felt in years. The pain that has tormented you will no longer be a shadow, because the light of my promise will rise in you. Many will look at your life and say, "How was this possible?" And you will answer with your very existence, "God did it." Don't fear what you don't yet understand. Don't worry about what you can't control. Simply remain in my presence, and you will see the impossible become reality. I restore your health, your joy, your peace, your purpose. I return color to your days, brightness to your eyes, firmness to your steps. I even recover the time you thought was lost. Because with me, nothing is lost. Everything is transformed. Now take a deep breath, my child. Feel the lightness I place within you. This is the seal of complete restitution. You will not be remembered for pain, but for the miracle. You will not be recognized for mourning, but for rebirth. You will no longer carry the weight of what is gone, but the honor of what has been fulfilled. This is the new beginning I have prepared, and it is now before you. And so that you know that this is not the end, but rather the continuation, I close with this call that resonates from heaven to your heart. Breathe deeply again, because this is only the beginning of something extraordinary. Stop what you are doing, my child, for what you are hearing is not chance or coincidence. It is my voice speaking directly to you. I have been waiting for this moment with you because I know that for your heart to receive what I am about to give you, it must mature and become sensitive, because what is to be revealed cannot wait. I summon you immediately. What you receive today has been prepared for you long ago and carries the weight of eternity. I approach now so that you may see that your entire journey has a purpose, no matter where you are or what you face. Every tear was counted, every silence noted, and every cry hidden deep within your soul was documented in my records. Nothing escaped my notice. I want you to truly listen. Don't consider these comments as background noise. To open your spirit, I myself breathe upon you. I want you to stop and listen to me, not to be distracted by what will happen next. The secret to opening seemingly insurmountable doors will soon be revealed. What seemed stuck in your chest will begin to move. I witnessed the times you silently searched for clues and cried for answers no one else could see. And now I can affirm that I am with you and that I have something wonderful planned for your life. I know you've often felt alone, that you've wondered if your prayers were heard in heaven, and that you've felt forgotten. I can assure you that they were not only received, but answered. Your waiting has a purpose. The apparent calm was, in reality, my preparation behind the scenes. You thought nothing was happening, but I took invisible paths. Every wait was an adjustment to ensure that what arrived was ideal for your destination, and every delay had a purpose. Now is the time for you to awaken and reconnect with me. Now is the time to realize that you were never abandoned. Now take a deep breath and allow my presence to fill your entire existence. Allow the rhythms of your body and soul to harmonize with my tranquility. Your heartbeat is evidence that there is still hope and a way forward. When you felt like giving up, I kept you afloat. When you failed, I kept you afloat. When no one else saw your suffering, I helped you up. I remember your efforts, the nights you endured, and the modest acts of faith that no one saw, as well as your failures. Nothing you've experienced has been in vain, and I want you to know that. What seemed like the end was actually the beginning of something new. The polishing process included heartbreaking losses, closed doors, and postponed ambitions. Where there was pain, I planted a seed. Where there was calm, I kept a promise. Inside you, these seeds are beginning to germinate. You will experience a new restlessness and an inner power you never knew you had. Things that didn't seem right before will begin to make sense in mysterious ways. Do not reject or fear memories. They are records that provide instruction and meaning, not chains. Your story has an invisible legacy that endures beyond time and death. Someone planted the seeds of their deep love for you on my altar. As genuine love never dies, but transforms into motivation, understanding, and guidance, today I return this inheritance to you. Doors will open for you to complete what was presented to you. Gifts that had remained dormant will come alive, and what was missing will begin to take shape. Let your heart heal itself. Let courage pulse through optimism once again. Avoid carrying more guilt than necessary. Avoid living in the shadow of unspoken words. Rather, answer my call right now. Open your eyes, open your hand, and open your life to what I have in store for you. Heaven operates when you listen to me. Angels move as you think they would. I behave in ways you cannot comprehend as you submit to my direction. This is just the beginning of something spectacular, so take another deep breath. Pay close attention, my son, because I am going to reveal a secret that has been hidden in your past. Someone left a kind, loving, and present mark on your life. This person left more than memories. They also left an intangible legacy that endures beyond death and the passage of time. This legacy is composed of spiritual seeds that I have kept on my altar to grow within you now, not of documents, belongings, or material wealth. I record every loving gesture, direct advice, and sincere comment that was said. They prayed for you, placed your name in my hands, and prayed for safety, a future, and a full life, even when they felt they were in danger. I heard every cry. No tear fell aimlessly. No cry was lost in the wind. I gathered every prayer and protected them as if they were living seeds that would sprout at the right time. The time has come. What you carry with you now is not just the result of your experiences, despite what you may believe. This legacy includes many of the talents, wisdom, and qualities that began to manifest within you after that departure. Signs that this inheritance is already at work in you include the courage you didn't know you had, the wisdom to make unexpected decisions, and the insight that kept you from taking the wrong path. It is continuity, not chance or coincidence. It is love transformed into a mission. Remember the last exchange of words, the last glance, and the wordless embrace that remained engraved in your heart. Although it may have seemed like a simple goodbye, it was more than that. Every gesture and every word contained revelation and prophecy. In reality, what you thought was routine was a promise fulfilled. Don't hate these memories, for I hid clues that will serve as advice for you today. When I speak of legacy, I mean a voice that still resonates and guides your actions, not just memory. You are not alone. Death only shifted the dimensions. It didn't break the bond that created true love. The seeds of that person who loved you are still there, blossoming in your life. And I am the God who turns absence into destiny, tears into promises, and memories into legacies. I can assure you now that nothing was lost or in vain. Everything that seemed to wither was just waiting for the perfect moment to bloom. So accept this understanding as part of your identity. You bear marks that indicate continuity, not mere scars. You are the fruit of intercessions made with love and suffering, the answer to a 1,000-year-old supplication, and the continuation of a heritage that did not cease with your departure but lives on within you. Remember that what began as love now exists within you as a mission. I want you to understand exactly what I am stirring in you right now, beloved child. What was only a memory yesterday flows through your heart today like a living stream. What was planted in silence, filled with tears and kept on my altar, has grown. The legacy has sprouted like branches piercing the earth in search of light, instead of hiding like a seed underground. I breathe to show you that legacy is a path forward, not a sentimental memory. The gifts that have begun to appear are not sporadic. They are part of the new framework I am creating within you. The knowledge that comes to you when you have to make a decision was not a coincidence. Blind instinct is not the source of the courage that arises when everything tells you to retreat. I turn on the beacon of understanding that prevents you from taking wrong paths. Because it envelops you, identifies you, and propels you forward. I call it a cloak. Recognize it as a privilege and a duty. Along the way, nothing was lost. The story didn't end with the heartbreaking goodbye. It simply changed its course. I gathered the love that came to you from human hands and returned it to you in the form of spiritual nourishment. Time only polished the true so that it would shine when the time came, not to erase it. And now is your time. As a living continuation of what began with love, I lift you up. Practical clues to this transfer will become clear to you. When someone breaks down around you, the perfect words will emerge. You'll be able to see beyond appearances and treat wounds with compassion without aggravating them. You'll be able to discern between a path and a shortcut, between urgency and importance, and between words and noise. Doors that refuse to open will react as if an invisible key were turned from within. The legacy is on your side thanks to this key. Don't underestimate what I'm about to give you. A little obedience will bring you great opportunities. You can't see the processes set in motion by a timely phone call, a visit you decide to be late to greet someone, or a forgiveness granted while the wound is still fresh. The nature of inheritance is to multiply. The small object in my hand never remains small. The grain becomes a harvest when it is constant. When it is faithful, the murmur becomes a river. Teach the gifts I have given you. Create space for the words that sharpen you, the prayer that grounds you, the stillness that aligns you, and the service that helps you grow. To keep you from getting bogged down in confusion, I will offer you rhythm. You will discover how to say no to the things that drain your energy and yes to the things that help you stay on track. Because your heritage needs fertile soil to bear fruit, you will change your behaviors and treat your body like a temple and your mind like a garden. Remember where you come from and how many times I've encouraged you when doubt tells you you're incapable. Remember that I created you to complete your own story, not to imitate others. When comparison threatens to immobilize you, discard outdated labels. With guilt, break unspoken agreements. I clothed you to walk in the light, not to cover you with a cloak. Where you needed direction, I guided you, and where you lacked strength, I filled you with grace. I raise guards around the promise to prevent haste, fear, or exhaustion from stealing it. I personally review your motives and synchronize your feelings at every stage so that the present is a service and not a spectacle. There is humility where there is pride, and the legacy carries the weight of glory. Learn to rest without surrendering, to rejoice without being conceited, and to progress without haste. As a result, the mantle remains light on your shoulders. Now I ask you to demonstrate your faith in tangible ways. Verify with your hands what you are receiving and touch this message with your heart. Enjoy this video as if it were cementing in your soul what you already know to be true. To stay up to date with this coverage and continue receiving advice when you need it, please subscribe. I am inviting you to a prophetic act, not to ask the channel for a favor. When you walk with confidence, I open doors inaccessible to human effort. Inhale deeply and recognize that you are already changing. What was once a fog gives way to defined shapes as the parts begin to come together. Carry this understanding into your home, workplace, and relationships. The legacy I have given you is light for many. It is not a personal adornment. I'm going to remind you of some old questions you have been harboring. Bring them to me so I can answer them. Join me in the next section, where your heart will find meaning in what seemed like an unsolvable question for so long. I know all the questions that have plagued you since the day you realized that priceless life was gone, my child. I heard your soul wondering why it happened, and I heard your silent cry. Now where is she? Can you hear me? Are you still thinking of me? I know every thought you had in the wee hours when you felt as if need was squeezing your chest. Today I answer you directly, sharing the truth that only heaven can reveal, rather than using human justifications. Nothing happened without my knowledge, nothing was lost, and nothing was in vain. The task that began in love lives on in you, even after that person's time on earth has ended. I saw you, son, stare into the void and think that you too will always be empty. I was there for you when the memories hurt, but they didn't calm you. When you wanted to go back, change your clothes and stop leaving, I saw you. Now, however, I want you to understand that nothing could ruin the perfect plan I created. Even what seems like an irreversible loss has seeds that can eventually germinate. A new cycle began with that seemingly final goodbye, and now it has been completed in you. You often ask me, is he still here? Has he abandoned me? He hasn't abandoned you, I assure you. True love only changes dimensions. It doesn't perish with death. The connection forged through tears, gestures, and devotion was recorded for me to see. I certify that the life that shaped you lives on as a spiritual legacy, and an intercession. The desire you feel is evidence that love endures, and that love now manifests in you as talents, courage, and purpose. You carry a calling you once thought were only memories. You have a task, even if you thought you only had memories. Because that life gave me your name before it departed, entrusted me with your days, and begged me to keep you close. Every silent plea, every secret tear, and every prayer I wrote. Now I prove to you that you are the answer to those prayers. You are the continuation of an unfinished task. You are the connection between what has already been planted and what will yet grow. I want solutions to set you free, not to imprison you with destructive questions, dear child. Wondering if you could have done things differently no longer matters. The time of that life had come to an end, and you had no control over it. Love was in your hands, and love was sown, given, and accepted. Your legacy is now in your hands, and it must be lived, shared, and respected. Do not feel guilty, for it was my vote, not your merits, that determined the legacy. When you didn't feel worthy of moving forward, I saw you. When you declared, I have no strength, I have no ability, I saw you. Today, I tell you to ignore your limitations because I chose you. I knew who you would be and what you would bring from the moment you were conceived. I paved your way for you to get here even before you were born. You belong to a timeless design. You are not a product of chance. As my strength is refined in your weakness, I am not surprised by your fragility. The call is stronger than loss, more persistent than absence, and greater than agony, so do not run from it. It's time to realize that your existence has a purpose beyond your own decisions, heir of heaven. Through you, a spiritual heritage comes to life. Your path now finds continuity in stories of faith, sacrifice, and devotion. Remember that all the good that person achieved was documented before me, so when you remember their existence, keep it in mind. I increase virtue and turn it into guidance. I take the seeds of love and turn them into purposeful fruits. Life is meant to be lived in continuity, not in memory. You must defend what remains, not let what is gone paralyze you. Instead of crying like someone who has lost everything, use your tears to water the soil of hope. I collected every drop that fell on your pillow, and now water the soil of your mission. You were chosen to continue what was started. You were not left to chance. I'm with you. Don't ignore this revelation. When you feel nostalgic, remember that it's also fuel. Remember that I've already given you the answers to the questions. Remember that you can achieve your goal without needing all the reasons when you try to understand the why. Remember that you are under my care, and I will encourage you to keep going. So, my son, accept that the mission remains within you. The love you received persisted. It acquired a purpose. The suffering you endured molded you to carry the mantle. It didn't destroy you. Absence is a surrender, not a void. The end of the world was only the beginning of a cycle in paradise. You are tangible proof that I keep my word and that love never dies. Take a deep breath now and allow this conviction to permeate every aspect of your existence. What seemed finished continues to happen, and you are part of this movement. Accept, walk, and receive. As your God, I declare that everything in you endures. Nothing was lost and nothing was in vain. Remember that moment, my son, when everything seemed to be coming to an end. The last exchange of words, the last glance, the direct gesture that seared your brain like a fire. You might have assumed it was simply a painful farewell, yet I tell you now that everything was planned. Nothing was empty or arbitrary. The weight of each unspoken word was eternal, and each tear that fell from that person's eyes was a silent plea directed to my throne. There I was, absorbing each gesture, collecting each sigh, and turning it all into a gift. It was more than just closure the last time you saw that face. It was the signing of a legacy. It was a confirmation, not an agony, that hung over the silent room. I heard the cries for continuity that came from the broken heart. That moment was a seed, which is why I'm telling you about it today. What seemed like a farewell was actually a sending off. It was a mission passed on, not a loss. And you are in charge of that task. You are faced with a prophecy when you recall that face, that outstretched hand, and that expression that spoke volumes. In reality, everything that seemed ordinary was divine. The person who departed knew you could continue, but knew they could never complete everything. I personally witnessed this to you in the depths of your being. Feel it today, because your spirit still resonates with the echo of that time. You were not abandoned. You were endowed with a sacred duty, a calling, and an inheritance. I'll sum it all up by saying, live for me, which I now affirm about you. Live with the passion that person only imagined. Live as if their prayers have been answered. Live leaving traces of love, faith, and surrender instead of simply existing. Be a living example of how tears lead to harvest. Live because your voice, your hands, and your actions are necessary to fulfill a promise. And I promise you provision, in addition to telling you to live. Paths that seemed closed will become evident, doors will open before you, and resources that were denied will become available. In addition to calling you, I also provide for you. In addition to giving you a task, I also care for you. the apparent stillness begins to move. Where there was once scarcity, there will now be abundance. Where there was only stillness, you will find answers. The harvest will come because the one who left received their request and it was answered, not because you deserve it. I want you to take a visible step of faith now, my child. I ask you to seal this word today, just as that life trusted me and prayed for you. Write the number 77727 with faith, because it represents your acceptance of living the mission, your trust in the doors I open for you, and the reception of the inheritance. Each comment validates your decision, acting as a kind of prophetic act. Declaring in the visible what is already happening in the invisible is more than simply writing. Heaven works as you write. I release answers as you confirm with your hands and your tongue, because religion is action, not just feeling. And I react when you do. This is the activation period, the period of change from loss to continuity, from mourning to purpose. A new stage develops from what seemed to be the last. Take a deep breath now and let these 3 words become an indelible mark on your spirit. Live for me. Keep them in your heart. Say them aloud when fear attacks you and repeat them when doubt tries to silence you, because your legacy is embodied in these words. The quest to live with faith, to walk with purpose, to flourish where you thought only desert remained, was your ultimate legacy, not pain. This is the pivotal moment, child. Questions no longer hold you back. Instead, you move toward answers. You are now motivated by purpose instead of being immobilized by nothingness. Live for me because I have so much left to experience, accomplish, and see. Live because I called upon you, gave you the tools you needed, and kept you going. Live because you are now filled with new power, and the love that once seemed lost blossoms within you. Everything that seemed over will only be the beginning of a new chapter if you live for me. Listen carefully, beloved child, because before I continue, I want you to understand something crucial. My care must touch your heart before my hands freely release the resources I have prepared, before financial doors open, and before the miracles of provision appear before your eyes. For blessings are useless if they do not help you rediscover who you are within. If your heart was still heavy, tormented by guilt, and marked by unhealed wounds, what good would the bountiful harvest do? Therefore, I affirm that true abundance begins within, in the hidden place of the soul, where I find the peace of mind that money cannot buy. I've seen how you carried the burden, thinking you could have done more, and that, if it had been up to you, perhaps that person's departure would have been different. I've seen how remorse stalked you like a silent shadow. I tell you now to cast off this deception. The time served could not have been altered. As each day was counted before me, you were not responsible for the end of the world. What seemed like a failure or an injustice was actually a cycle ending, so another could begin. And within you, this new cycle begins. I wish to enrich your memories. I want to touch the place where you held unresolved questions and wounds from the past. I want to show you how sending now replaces the absence that once wounded you. I want you to know that you were not abandoned, for I myself accepted you as heir to a living promise that day. You are transforming everything you thought was lost into direction. You are moving forward instead of backward. The end of the world served as a door to a new era, not a conclusion. The gods work as you listen to my words. Angels surround you as your heart expands. I repair what was damaged when you take a deep breath and choose to trust. The suffering that imprisoned you will now serve as a witness instead of a prison. Soft music will emerge from what seemed like silence. What seemed like loss will serve as motivation for triumph. Be the God and the one who takes the pieces and creates something even more exquisite. I promise you, son, Nothing will ever be the same again. I will give new meaning to everything you've experienced, not because I'm going to erase your past or your memories. Now you will water the seeds that sprout from the tears that once choked you. What once immobilized you will now motivate you to be more compassionate. My presence will fill the emptiness that seemed to surround you. I will turn everything you thought was an end into a beginning. Every goodbye on earth becomes a cycle in heaven. Now I ask you for something that will increase the promise. There are many people who need to hear the same truth that this word has brought you. Don't keep your liberating experiences to yourself. As an act of faith and as a vehicle for inheritance, spread this message. You will not only be sending a video, but you will also be providing comfort, hope, and what today began to rebuild your own life. Like a link in the chain that heaven is moving, sharing is like multiplying the seed. Sharing is a prophetic gesture, and it's no small one. It's as if you're allowing people's hearts to heal by opening a spiritual door. Many people around you can't move forward because of their heavy memories, their guilt, and their pain. By spreading this word, you become a tool for them to hear. It wasn't a silence, it was an answer. It wasn't a beginning, it was a start. It wasn't an abandonment, it was ascending. And their lives will begin to flourish with the same healing that is manifesting in you today. So, take a deep breath and give me the burden of your heart. Give me the questions you couldn't answer. Release the knot that continues to bind your soul. I myself will soothe you. I myself will apply balm to your wounds. I will turn suffering into my own destiny. Remember that you are not alone in doing this. The promise lives on, and all of heaven is on your side. What seemed like the end is actually the beginning of a new stage that will be distinguished by my presence. Now is the time for self-healing. You can trust that my care is over. I leave your heart cleansed, bright, and renewed before the external can blossom. Accept this healing as the seed of all I have left to give. Be a conduit of love by spreading this word, for what I begin in you is not for you alone. I am creating in you a tool of comfort, a symbol of hope, and a living example that every earthly death is only the beginning of a new cycle in heaven. I need to talk to you about something you've been experiencing physically, but it truly begins in your soul. So please, my child, open your heart. I know your mind and heart are constantly racing, and your bones feel abnormally tired. I'm sure you've wondered why the pain persists, even when you try to live a peaceful life, and why symptoms appear without explanation. Today I tell you that illness is a calling, not a punishment. Your body seems to scream what your heart has been trying to silence for years. That's how I used to make you stop, think, and look at me. I'm here to restore, not condemn, so I don't want you to be afraid after hearing this. Many of the physical symptoms you see are a reflection of unexpressed wounds, unresolved guilt, and pain that has never had time to heal. When the soul doesn't find rest, the body carries its burden. Doctors can't explain the pain that arises from an anxious mind. Even bones can be poisoned by a wounded heart. However, I tell you now that none of this is meant to ruin you. I gave you permission to experience these symptoms to uncover the underlying cause and guide you toward a process of complete recovery. I am the God who is aware of every cell, fiber, and breath you take, my child. I am aware of things you are not. I already know what is inside you even before the test reveals it. I have the solution ready before the diagnosis is written. This is to teach you to trust, not to scare you, for I show you my strength in your weakness. I am the one who keeps you going when you feel like you are failing. I am the one who opens the door for you when you think there is no way out. Don't see your pain as a sentence, but as a warning. Consider it a new beginning, not the end. When the spirit cries for help, the body speaks. It's time to pause, look within, and let what no one else can see heal. I tell you today, Stop trying to endure. Come to me with everything, even your weakness. I'm not ashamed of your limitations. I embrace them. I want to show you that every pain can be a bridge to life, that every symptom can be transformed into a testimony. And at this moment, I invite you to a visible act of faith. Play this video with your heart and confirm your trust in me. Enjoy it as if you were activating in the physical world what is already beginning in the invisible. Every action you take with faith creates space for me to extend my grace even further. So subscribe to stay under my word. It's a seal, not a favor. It's your way of saying, I believe the healing process has begun. I move for you as you move with faith. When you make small acts of trust, heaven works. I respect any decision that comes from within you, no matter how small, and I show you that you are not alone despite your fragility. I surround you with angels, strengthen your bones, and restore your power. I don't take your story away. On the contrary, I turn each painful chapter into a testimony of victory. So, my child, stop seeing your illness as a threat. Take this opportunity to stop and listen to my voice. I am the God who stops you so you can see what's important. As your father, I'd rather force you to sleep than lose you in haste. I've allowed everything up to this point to show you that true healing is found in me, not to break you. Today, I begin something new within you that transcends the physical because it touches your spirit. Accept this word and let it enter your heart. For the process has already begun. You are my beloved child, and I am restoring your hope as well as your bones. I am rebuilding your faith and your muscles. Every cell is receiving new life thanks to me, but most of all, your spirit. Breathe deeply in the air of my presence. It envelops you, revitalizes you, and uplifts you. The time for your recovery is now. I want you to fully understand the nature of the healing I have in store for your life, my son. Many believe that healing only begins when symptoms disappear, tests are clear, and diagnoses are revoked. However, true healing begins in the soul, I assure you. For it is in the heart where pain accumulates, in the mind where anxieties are stored, and in the spirit where invisible wounds are hidden. And in time, the flesh will reflect these wounds if they remain open. That is why I deal with the invisible as well as the visible. I have seen how you clung to the hurtful comments of the past. I know the bitterness you harbored deep within you. I know the shame that silently enveloped you and that you could not shake off. My child, all of this has been wearing you down, robbing you of your peace of mind, draining your vitality, and eroding your happiness. However, I tell you now to stop carrying responsibilities that were not yours. I personally bear your suffering and tend to your wounds. So that your exterior may overflow with vitality, I want to repair your interior. Recognize that the body reacts when the spirit finds rest. Muscles relax, sleep returns, and breathing becomes easier when the heart repairs itself. Even the body achieves balance when the mind is freed from the constraints of anxiety. I don't hate medical procedures or oppose science, but I want you to understand that spirituality is the foundation of good health. Therefore, today, I begin a deep process within you that will eliminate the roots of bitterness, undo the knots of guilt, and release new currents of serenity. Let me go where no one else goes, child. Allow me to touch memories that still hurt you, moments you'd like to forget but are still a part of you. Don't be afraid to return to these places, because I will turn your suffering into testimony and set it free for you. I will put balm where there was once a gaping scar, give new meaning to the words that hurt you, and exchange bitter memories for new hope. Making space for my presence to dwell where there was once a shadow is the first step toward true healing. Something changes physically when you give me access to these secret places. The tightness in your chest you felt disappears. The tiredness that held you back weakens. The constant fatigue gives way to a new vitality. Even your thoughts begin to become organized, like a gentle breeze clearing away the clutter. This is the reflection of a repaired soul. It's more than just feelings. It's a spiritual metamorphosis with tangible physical effects. In the coming days, don't worry if you find your emotions intensifying, tears streaming down your face, or memories returning. This is a natural part of the process, not a setback. It's the heart letting go of what it doesn't need. Like a river that has been blocked for too long, the soul is purified. Have faith in me, for I am directing every aspect. Nothing that comes out now will harm you again. On the contrary, it will set you free forever. I assure you that wholeness, not just the absence of disease, is a true indicator of health. I want to see your body in harmony, your spirit strong, and your soul radiant. I want you to live free of unnecessary burdens and invisible chains. Therefore, I suggest you let go of the past and everything that has caused you pain. Surrender, trust, and let it go. A little healing arises within you every time you surrender yourself to my hands. Don't be afraid of this procedure, son. I know that to appear strong, you might hide your suffering. Surely you've learned to feign calm while the storm rages inside, to smile when everything falls apart. But I want your reality, not your facades. Since I live in the broken, I want you to come to me in all your fragility. I pour out my anointing from the depths of my heart. Your recovery process will advance more quickly if you are honest with me. Pay close attention. Suffering and illness are not the end of your story. You are a person who is healing, not someone who is sick. You are supported, loved, and chosen. So that what you appear on the outside is the result of my work, and not merely human. I heal you from within. In retrospect, you will see that even the suffering that depressed you served as a springboard for your triumph. Now inhale deeply and allow my presence to permeate your innermost thoughts. Observe how the empty spaces fill with serenity. Observe how anxiety transforms into tranquility. Feel the warmth that optimism brings to the cold. From the inside out, from the soul to the body, from the invisible to the apparent, this is the beginning of complete healing. I am your God, and I will always be by your side. I am creating new things within you, so that nothing will ever be the same again. I want you to know, my child, that you are not alone on this path to recovery. I have had guards surrounding you since before you were born, and now I can say with certainty that I have sent Archangel Michael to defend you. He is more than just a messenger. He is a prince who stands in combat against unseen powers and a warrior from heaven. He watches while you sleep. While you pray, he fights. He dismantles the obstacles the enemy has tried to put in your path when your heart opens to me. Never underestimate what goes on behind the scenes. Words that tried to limit your future, walls that stood for centuries, and chains that were meant to be destroyed. Yet nothing remains standing when Michael arrives. He is the one who expels evil, tears down spiritual strongholds, and tears away the veils of deception. Even if you can't see him with your physical eyes, your soul already recognizes the signs. An unexpected sense of courage in the face of fear, a sudden relief when everything seemed overwhelming, and a sudden calm in the midst of battle. These are signs that he was there, proof that the fight is being fought for you. Recognize this. The adversary tried to use suffering as a prison, sickness as a jail, and loss as a punishment. However, to break each of these bonds, I sent Michael. Nothing said against you will have any effect. His sword is stronger than any curse. When heaven decides to fight, no sentence of loss triumphs. Your life is in mine because it is not in the hands of evil. Michael comes forward to publicly affirm the commitment as soon as I announce the victory. He moves before you like a weapon and a shield. Doors will open wherever you go, thanks both to your own power and to the spiritual intervention I have planned. He silences those who accuse you, crushes those who wish to harm you, and protects your mind from the arrows of fear and doubt. He also protects your dreams, defends your steps, and erects walls of fire around your home. He has already stopped many assaults you didn't even know existed. Do not fear what awaits you. Do not let the memory of your failures paralyze you. Michael is the commander I placed at your side, and I have an army with me. He continued the task in your past, having fought centuries before you and saved lives no longer with us. He fought to protect the promise that runs through your veins, and he will continue to fight until it is fully fulfilled. I conclude in victory because I began with love. Take this as a seal, my son. You are never unattended. You are not dependent on luck. Angels surround you and accompany your every move. They stand by your bedside when the night seems eternal. They whisper reassurance when anxiety takes hold. They give you strength when your body falters. I send soldiers for close combat, not messengers to watch from a distance. Michael is a testament to my passion, proof of my concern, and a guarantee that your journey will not be lonely. Knowing the war is already won, raise your head and move forward. It's because I am your strength, not because you are. Not because you are powerful, but because you are a manifestation of my power. Michael follows my instructions rather than acting on his own initiative, and I sent him because I care for you and want you to know that heaven supports your success. Inhale deeply and experience this feeling of security. Simply trust it with your heart. You don't need to see it with your eyes. The army is already moving, as evidenced by the calm that immediately fills you. Fear begins to fade, weight to lessen, and resistance to yield. At this point, you will learn to walk with faith in the light before you, rather than focusing on the darkness that surrounds you. Michael is the warrior I place at your side because I am your God, and no enemy will stand against us together. I want you to realize what is already happening within you, my child. I have begun to awaken latent abilities since you let me speak to your heart. Perhaps you have already noticed that you have become more sensitive. You begin to cry over things that didn't bother you before. Situations that once went unnoticed now make you feel deep compassion. You feel as if someone's simple words carry eternal weight. This indicates that your spiritual heritage has awakened. It is neither weakness nor chance. I have given you a new perspective. It is as if your heart perceives the invisible and your eyes see beyond appearances. You experience the suffering of others as if it were your own. When someone cries, it seems as if their tears also fall into your eyes. This is the result of your legacy. The sensitivity that develops in you is a tool, not a burden. It is a gift, not a burden. Thanks to it, you become an instrument of my love on earth. Don't let this intensity frighten you. I am molding your heart to be a compassionate and perceptive vessel. Before, you rushed into some circumstances, but now you pause, absorb, and accept them. You never before understood the sudden warmth in your spirit or the chill in your soul, but now you realize it is my presence that speaks to you. Your heritage is being activated in part thanks to this spiritual awakening. It is evidence that you are living to fulfill a destiny I have predetermined for you, and not just by chance. Child, this increased sensitivity demonstrates your spiritual development. It indicates that you have changed and that your heart is in harmony with mine. It will allow you to see what needs healing around you, to speak when others don't, and to speak out when silence threatens to silence those close to you. I awaken gifts so that many may be reached through you, not just for you. You are a conduit for what began in a previous generation, the continuation of a mission. I have a crucial request for you now. Don't hold on to what activates on your own. What you are receiving increases. It is not exclusive. I want it to grow and become a chain. So spread the message. Sharing is more than just exchanging words. It also involves sowing the seeds of spiritual awareness. You are bringing the same enlightenment that is touching you now to other lives who must also experience it. Many people around you are dry, intolerant, and think emotion is a sign of weakness. However, when they hear this message from you, they will understand that perception is a gift, that crying is healing, and that feeling is power. You become a bridge every time you share, my child. You serve as a conduit between heaven and hearts that are not yet able to open. You join a rehabilitation network by spreading this word. This gesture should not be taken lightly. At first glance, it is small, but in the invisible, it is powerful. It is like lighting a candle in a completely dark room and then spreading its flame to several candles. Hope can rekindle hearts that were already cold because of what struck you today. I want you to know that this greater sensitivity will strengthen you, not harm you. Its purpose is to help you become more humane and compassionate, more like my beloved son, who showed compassion to many, was grieved at the sight of suffering, and reached out to the marginalized. You now possess the same nature. The more you let it grow, the more you will notice how things around you change. Breathe deeply and experience what I am releasing to you. Your spiritual enlightenment is just beginning. In addition to living, you have been invited to feel, discern, and change. Use this sensitivity as a living testimony of my existence, a weapon of love and a conduit for faith. Remember this: you are strong because my spirit is in you, not because you feel more, and heaven expands through you when you give what you receive. I want you to see the importance of what I am doing in your life. So pay close attention, beloved child. You are more than a person who breathes and lives day by day. You are not a product of chance. Long before you were born, cries rose to heaven, and you are the answer. Generations have knelt, voices have spoken to me, and hearts have pleaded for change and transformation. And I recorded each of these prayers on paper. You are their solution, I tell you now. Between what was asked for and what is now beginning to grow, you are the living connection. Do not minimize your existence. You carry seeds within you that did not germinate in your ancestors, but now find a home in your past. Before you, many dreamed of change, wished for doors to open, and imagined a harvest they had never seen. This is reserved for you. With gratitude, you will reap what they sowed in pain. You will receive in abundance what they silently yearned for. I attest that your existence is not accidental, but part of a much greater plan. Favor has been showered upon your path. Doors that were once closed will open before you. You will begin to hear yes where many others said no. I will open unexpected paths when there seemed to be no way out. My favor is the result of the commitment I have made to your ancestry. It is not based on your strength or your human relationships. I will show you that no one can close when I open, and no one can open when I close. I will use it as my seal at every opportunity. This is the moment of clarity, child. Things that were unclear will begin to make sense. Order will be restored to the thoughts that were swirling around in your head. The pieces of your life, once disjointed and useless, will begin to fit together like a perfect puzzle. For I am affirming your purpose. You have been called to restore, to heal, to be a beacon of hope when all else seems hopeless. I have called you to be a light shining in the darkness, not just to survive. When the burden seems unbearable, do not fear. I myself prepared you for this moment. I gave you the ability to see suffering, the courage to face difficulties, and the discernment to make decisions. Also remember that you do not walk alone when you feel weak. Like a warrior, Michael walks before you, and I hold your hand. The grace I have poured out upon you will overcome any obstacle you encounter. You are part of a long-standing promise that has now been fulfilled. Now I invite you to a public act of faith, my child. As if you were expressing to heaven, I want to follow this path. Sign up to remain under this word. Aligning yourself with what I am releasing is more important than simply following. In the material realm, each inscription serves as a seal that validates your spiritual choice. It is your way of expressing, I receive and keep walking, and of staying in touch with the flow of the promise. With this action, I am expanding your domain. I'm planning interactions that will seem like coincidences, but are actually solutions. I'm placing friends, mentors, and people who help you build bridges near you. Those who don't contribute are moving out of your way, and those who will help you grow are moving in. I'm granting you a favor that will benefit everyone around you, not just you. Many others will notice your transformation and realize that something is off, something that defies rational explanation. It will serve as a testament to a promise kept. Now take a deep breath and remember that you are the solution of a generation. You are the result of long-held prayers. You are the result of prayers filled with faith. Don't minimize yourself. Don't hide yourself. Don't question yourself. The favor I am giving you will clear the path, open doors, and show everyone that I choose you. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to stop my plan from being fulfilled in you. I want you to know, my child, that life's pauses are not a sign of failure, but rather opportunities to develop something deeper within you. You often thought that resting was a waste of time, that acknowledging fatigue was a sign of weakness, and that giving up was a sign of loss. However, I tell you that even tranquility is part of the spiritual path, and even rest is part of obedience. You were not created to live in constant haste, shattered by everyone's expectations and trying to bear burdens that are not yours. I am forming you for wholeness, not collapse. That is why I give you pauses, so that you may see where the imbalance lies and give me the opportunity to heal your inner being. Count the times your body cried out for what your spirit already understood. The signs that you needed to surrender included fatigue, lack of energy, and an overloaded mind. But instead of worrying everyone, you decided to keep your smile and hide your agony so as not to appear weak. There's no need to pretend anymore. I tell you today, you can tell me the truth. I don't reject a broken heart. So you can be vulnerable without fear. On the contrary, I desire to live in that essence. It's not a punishment when life interrupts you with illness, loss, or an unforeseen limitation. It serves as a warning. It seems to me to say to you, stop a moment, child, for I have to heal what is hidden. I educate you to appreciate what truly matters. I show you that you are a temple of my spirit and not a machine, and I open your eyes to things you were unaware of during these necessary breaks. Truth, full health, and communion are what I treasure, even when the world demands perpetual performance. Don't let fragility frighten you. My power grows in the same soil as the weakness you work so hard to hide. My presence becomes more evident when you recognize that you cannot do it alone. My arms hold you when yours are tired. My voice spurs you on when your cries fall short. Every obstacle you experience is a readjustment, not a setback. Every obstacle you see is an encouragement to trust me, not a sign of failure. I know that every night you failed. I know the times you thought you couldn't go on. I know the times you cried in private, demanding an explanation no one could understand. I want you to know today that I was present for every one of those moments, not as a bystander, but as a father who supported you, held back your tears, and kept your hope alive, even when it seemed like it was about to die. Every vulnerability was used to shape you into a more truthful, trustworthy, and sensitive person. Nothing was wasted. Take a deep breath and give yourself time to process this reality. Resting is trusting, not giving up. Silence is listening, not losing. Stopping means letting me guide you, not running away. Learn to appreciate breaks because I help you refocus, regain strength, and align your heart during them. If you're not relentless, don't blame yourself. Since even the Creator took a break on the seventh day, it was I who inscribed the need for rest in your body. Look, son, even your fragility can serve as a testimony. You'll discover that the moments you thought were your end were actually the beginning when you look back. Every time your body made you stop, your spirit had the opportunity to grow. Your spirit always made room to hear my voice when your head could no longer bear it. I leaned closer to hold you closer every time your heart wavered. Now listen to this. Your weakness is a bridge to rebirth, not a sign of failure. I am the God who transforms limitations into new beginnings, tears into new seeds, and pauses into new cycles. Nothing was lost. Even what seemed like an interruption was guiding you toward the true path. Allow every stillness to be an encounter, every stop an altar, and every weakness a door to my power. I will use your vulnerability as a backdrop for my greatest miracle, and I am with you in all of it. The harvest has arrived, my son. Nothing was wasted, not even the tears you shed, the days your heart ached with anguish, nor the times you thought you were alone. Before me, every tear was a seed. On my throne, every silent cry was captured. Your tired body, which needed energy every night, became fertile soil. I proclaim over you today that, even if you didn't know it, the time has come to reap what was sown. Now, the agony that seemed to destroy you becomes your guide. The losses you thought were the end have become opportunities for a new beginning. Soon, the humiliations that made you bow your head will be transformed into glory. For I am the God who turns loss into triumph, darkness into light, and misfortune into testimony. No question will go unanswered. What was once barren flowers, like a resurrected garden, and what seemed lost returns like a restored promise. Take stock of your life and remember the times you felt you'd never get out of the valley. Remember the moments when it seemed like stillness screamed louder than any hope. I'll tell you this for now. The valley is now a harvest field. A deep green begins to grow where there was once dry land. Beauty emerges where there was once ash. I part rivers where there was once desert. This is the moment when strength will triumph over weakness, pleasure over tears, and abundance over scarcity. Son, you are my love, and I will always remember you. I have closely followed every aspect of your adventure. I know how many times you raised your hand and received no immediate response. I know how many times you felt like waiting was useless. Yet I can now affirm that nothing was lost. I prepared for your victory, taking advantage of even the silences. I turned every setback into practice and every failure into growth. Now, you are reaping the fruits of both your faith and the prayers of your ancestors. Your identity is restored at this point. I now refer to you as chosen instead of abandoned. I now refer to you as powerful within me instead of fragile. I refer to you as found instead of lost. I place you in a position of witness and clothe you with glory. People will understand that my favor is genuine when they look upon you. Many who didn't believe you were strong will be shocked at what I'm doing. For it is my hand that lifts you up, not your strength that keeps you going. I would like to invite you to a prophetic gesture now, my child. Declare with your own hands and words that you are blessed with this harvest season. Say with faith, today I receive my miracle. Like a seed thrown back to heaven, each written word makes heaven multiply. It is a proclamation, not a mere comment. It is your way of supposing what you already feel in the invisible world before the visible world does. The heavens move when you write. Angels record what you affirm. You begin to see opportunities when you prophesy with faith. Now is the time to declare with conviction that my time has come, my harvest has arrived, and my new beginning has arrived, instead of just silently believing. Take a deep breath and let this word enter your spirit. Everything that seemed purposeless now makes sense. Everything that seemed lost comes back to haunt you. What seemed like the end becomes a new beginning. This is the cycle of the fulfilled promise. Your time of mourning is over, and your time of harvest has begun. I, your God, announce it. I want you to realize the value of the body I gave you, dear child. I didn't make it merely as an aging substance or as pain-sensitive flesh. It is a sanctuary of my presence that I created. Every heartbeat, every breath, and every cell was created to serve as a home for my glory. I visualize a place for you to live when you look at your body and see only flaws. I see space for my strength to flourish where you perceive limitations. Your body is an instrument, not a burden, so do not disrespect what I have given you. I have witnessed your frequent neglect of self-care. Sleepless nights, excessive stress, and accumulated exhaustion have sapped your precious vitality. However, I tell you it's time to recover. It's time to learn how to give your body and mind the rest they need. Rest is a sign of trust, not laziness. You express your conviction that I am still working for you when you pause and take a breath. In addition to prolonging your life, taking good care of your body honors the temple where I am present. I wish to give you greater physical strength, son. I wish to infuse you with renewed vitality. There will be vitality where once there was persistent exhaustion. You will feel lighter than when the weight of the day lay upon you. You will find peaceful rest where once there was restless sleep. I personally apply lotion to your tired muscles, brittle bones, and beating heart. I swore to provide for you, therefore, I do not allow you to carry out this mission in perpetual frailty. I repair your body in the same way I repair your soul. However, I also educate you to be responsible. Because your life is a conduit of blessings for many, I want you to learn to take care of yourself. Your body is a tool to carry out the task I have entrusted to you. Therefore, nourish it in a balanced way. Relax it and let it breathe. Live to care for and please others instead of just working and suffering. You will discover that your body will react with renewed vitality when you respect it like a temple. I invite you to a prophetic gesture right now, my son. Enjoy this message as a sign of respect for the temple where I reside. It is a proclamation that you have regained strength, health, and readiness. It is more than a simple click. Miracles in the invisible are possible thanks to every act of faith in the apparent. I give you strength and stability when you choose to venerate my sanctuary. I send healing when you act with trust. I release your body from the burdens of the past as you profess honor. Your inner being will connect with my intention, causing many of the symptoms you've carried for years to begin to disappear. What seemed chronic begins to diminish. What seems insurmountable begins to change. For I am the God who heals both within and without. Breathe deeply and feel the impending rejuvenation. It seems as if a new breeze is sweeping through you, clearing away the heaviness, illuminating the dark, and awakening the dormant. I repair your body, soul, and spirit so that you may be a living example of my goodness. I lift you up with health so that you may move forward, and I give you energy so that you may keep going. Remember this, your body is sacred, a temple, and the place I've chosen to call home. Respect it, because by caring for it, you are caring for the inheritance I've given you. The vigor you thought you'd lost will return tenfold during this period of total healing. I want you to pay close attention, dear child, because this is the affirmation your heart has longed for. I am the God of complete restoration, not partial restoration. I restore everything that time took from you, everything you felt was taken from you, and everything you thought you had lost. When you give me the pages of your story, not a single chapter remains unredeemed. There is no void that cannot be filled, no wound that cannot be healed, and no fall from which I cannot lift you up. My specialty is turning deserts into gardens and ruins into homes. I have witnessed every aspect of your existence. I know of relationships that ended, opportunities that seemed to elude you, and aspirations that vanished before they could develop. Yet I assure you that today, nothing was in vain. In my hands, even what seems like loss to you is raw material. I am returning everything to its place, repairing bridges that seemed damaged and creating new paths where there were only walls. My proposal for restitution multiplies what is to come, rather than merely returning what was lost. A wonderful new beginning will emerge from what seemed like an end. What seemed like trash will become a bountiful harvest. Restoration begins with you, my child, and I want you to know it. I begin by restoring your identity so you can recognize yourself in me. You are loved, not rejected. You are remembered, not forgotten. You are the winner, not the loser. Next, I restore your hope so you can see the future I have planned instead of staying stuck in the past. Then I restore your strength so you can keep walking and not give up halfway. Finally, I repair your connections so that desire gives way to delight and solitude to communion. Everything that seemed dead will gain new vitality. Everything that seemed withered will shine again. Everything that seemed distant will return with dignity. I am the God of restoration, but I also give you things you could never have dreamed of. I give you more than you asked for, more than you imagined, and more than you thought possible. For my love and my charity know no bounds. You will see the opening of ancient portals at this time, my child. It is then that you will hear incredible news about restoration. Your heart will feel lighter than it has in years. The radiance of my promise will rise in you, and the agony that has been tormenting you will no longer be a shadow. Many will ask, how was this possible? After seeing your life, and you will answer that God did it. Don't be afraid of something you don't yet understand. Don't stress about things beyond your control. You'll see how the impossible becomes reality if you just stay in my company. I'll restore your well-being, happiness, peace of mind, and purpose. I'll bring color back to your days, sparkle to your eyes, and firmness to your gait. I'll even bring back the time you thought was lost. Because everything changes and nothing is lost while you're with me. Now, my child, breathe deeply. Feel the lightness I instill in you. The hallmark of complete restoration is this. It will be miracles, not suffering, that will remember you. It will be rebirth, not sadness, that will identify you. Now you will bear the honor of what was achieved instead of the burden of what was lost. I have prepared this new beginning, and now it is before you. I conclude by urging you to take another deep breath, as this is just the beginning of something spectacular, so that you realize that this is not the conclusion, but rather a continuation.